Sometimes, late in the day, when the noise has thinned out and there's nothing left to prove, a small thought rises. What if you're wrong about yourself? Not wrong in a dramatic way, not upside down, just slightly mistaken. I know how firmly you've held certain conclusions. You didn't choose them casually. They formed slowly, through moments that stung, through words that lingered longer than they should have, through silence where something warmer was needed. You began to gather evidence, piece by piece. You built a quiet case. I'm not enough. I'm too much. I always mess things up. I'm hard to love. Those thoughts didn't appear out of nowhere. They felt earned. They felt reasonable. And when something feels reasonable long enough, it starts to feel like truth. I'm not here to argue with you. I'm not here to dismantle anything. I'm just sitting with the question. What if the version of you that you carry in your mind, the one shaped by tired nights and misunderstood conversations and all the times you swallowed your feelings, what if that version isn't the whole picture? You don't have to answer. Just let the question rest beside you. No pressure, no urgency. Just the quiet possibility that the story you've memorized might be missing a few pages. I'm here with you in the wondering. There are words you've worn for a long time. Some of them were handed to you. Some of them you stitched onto yourself. Difficult, disappointing, too sensitive, not strong enough, the responsible one, the mess. At first, they may have felt temporary, just descriptions for a moment, a rough season, an off year. But repetition has a way of settling in. When something is said often enough, or felt deeply enough, it begins to harden around you. You stop noticing it as a label. It starts to feel like skin, and you adjust your life around it. You speak a little less because you believe you're too much. You hold back your needs because you believe they're inconvenient. You brace yourself before entering a room because you've decided you're the awkward one. You've been carrying these names for so long, they feel earned. They feel factual. I'm not here to peel them off. I'm not here to replace them. I just want to sit with how heavy that must be, to wake up each day already defined, already summarized, already certain of your limits. That's a quiet weight, and sometimes the heaviest part is how alone you feel in it, as if everyone else received something softer. But I see how carefully you've held these labels, how seriously you've taken them, how much effort you've made to live consistently with them. That tells me something gentle about you. You care about being honest, even when the honesty hurts. For now, we don't have to change any of it. We can just notice how long you've been carrying those words without ever setting them down. I'm here beside you in that noticing. There was a season when you didn't have the luxury of reflection. You were just trying to get through tension, through uncertainty, through days that felt longer than they should have. In that season, you adapted. You became quieter, or sharper, or smaller, or stronger than you wanted to be. Not because it was your truest self, but because it worked. It kept things from getting worse. It kept you standing. It helped you make it to the next morning. Survival has its own kind of wisdom. It teaches you what to say, what not to say, when to brace, when to disappear. And over time, The version of you that survived started to feel like the only version, the guarded one, the independent one, the one who expects disappointment first. You may not even remember when it began. It just became familiar, predictable, safe in its own way. If you assume the worst about yourself, no one can surprise you with it. If you expect rejection, you can prepare for it. That version of you wasn't weak. It was resourceful. It learned quickly. It protected your heart in the only ways it knew how. And maybe no one ever came back to gently tell you that the emergency had passed. So you kept wearing the armor long after the battle quieted. I'm not asking you to remove it. I see why it's there. I see how much it cost to build. We're just sitting here together, noticing the difference between who you had to become and who you might be underneath the tension. No rush, just awareness. I'm here with you in this soft unraveling. There are parts of you that went quiet, not because they disappeared, but because they weren't invited forward. The hopeful part, the playful part, the part that once reached without hesitation. At some point it felt safer to dim those lights. Maybe they were misunderstood. Maybe they were dismissed. Maybe they felt foolish after being hurt. So you tucked them away, not in anger, not in drama, just in self-protection. And over time, you stopped checking on them. You began introducing yourself without mentioning those pieces, as if they were childhood things, outgrown, irrelevant, but they're still there. Quiet doesn't mean gone. There is still a tenderness in you that hasn't hardened, still a curiosity that hasn't been fully answered, still a depth that hasn't been fully seen. You may have learned to lead with competence, or humor, or detachment, and those parts have served you. But beneath what is efficient and acceptable and predictable, there are softer layers. Not dramatic, not flashy, just true. You don't have to uncover them tonight. You don't have to remember everything at once. We're simply acknowledging that your identity is larger than the narrow hallway you've been walking in. There are rooms inside you that haven't been visited in a while. Dust on the shelves, light waiting at the windows. No pressure to open the doors, just the gentle awareness that they exist. And I'm here with you in the quiet house of your own heart. What if you are not a finished conclusion, not a fixed description, not a settled verdict? What if the way you see yourself is only one angle, lit by a certain kind of light? There may be more to you than the evidence you've collected, more than the mistakes you replay, more than the patterns you regret, more than the traits you try to manage. You are not a math problem that has already been solved. You are breathing, still unfolding, still carrying layers that have not introduced themselves yet. And it's okay if you don't fully believe that. You don't have to suddenly see yourself differently. We're not rewriting anything tonight. We're just loosening the grip around the certainty that you have yourself figured out. Identity can feel solid like stone, but sometimes it is more like water, shifting, reflecting differently depending on where you stand. If there is more to you, it does not demand performance. It does not rush you. It simply exists, quietly, patiently. And I am here with you not to define you, not to correct you, not to improve you, but to sit beside you as you rest from trying to measure yourself at all. You do not have to arrive anywhere in this moment. You can just breathe. And I will remain here with you in the gentle space where nothing about you has to be decided tonight.